Hey everybody, this is Mike Schrenk. Welcome to this series of 10 bot demos and code reviews for the book, Developing Bots with Selenium Python. If you got here via a link from the book, well, thank you. If you got here because you used a shared link, well, thank you as well. But please remember to like and subscribe below.
The creative misapplication of technology.
Hey everybody, this is Mike and this is video 8, a series of 10 videos that correspond to section 2, which is the project section of my book, Building Bots with Selenium Python. Today we're going to solve CAPTCHAs. If you recall, CAPTCHAs are intended to separate human traffic from non-human traffic. Basically, we are going to be using a CAPTCHA solver today to solve this CAPTCHA. Actually, we are going to be writing a bot to tell a bot that we're not a bot. Now, I know what you're thinking. CAPTCHAs have a purpose. Why are you telling people to defeat CAPTCHAs, especially after you tell us in your book over and over again that we need to respect our sources? Well, there are a lot of legitimate reasons that you might want to solve a CAPTCHA. For example, what if you're testing your website or a client's website and that website has CAPTCHAs on it? You need to be able to test those. Some other reasons why you'd want to be able to test CAPTCHAs. Sometimes you have data that you have a right to get to. Sometimes you may have paid for the data. And there's also a CAPTCHA. Again, that is a legitimate reason for solving a CAPTCHA. The third reason is that sometimes CAPTCHAs are used as a throttle. If you are accessing data too quickly, sometimes the server might throw up a CAPTCHA just to slow you down. When I encounter those, not only do I write software to handle the CAPTCHA, but it's also a sign that I should probably slow down a little bit. Okay, the way this works, we're going to do this manually here. We have the CAPTCHA, and then we have the CAPTCHA solver. And you notice, I want to get a fresh image here too. And they recycle. Okay, so we're going to be using LVTY. I'm going to save that image over here. And then I'm going to take our friendly CAPTCHA solver, and I'm going to choose that file. And I'm going to upload it. And you notice it came up with our solution right here. So if I had software controlling this and controlling this, I could just take this and plug it in over here. And if you notice, this is really easy to parse because it's very semantic. It's right between the answer tags. It tells you, what it is. So this is going to be super easy to parse. And if we type LVTY into the thing, the CAPTCHA is solved. So basically, see how we're going to be doing this. We're going to be using a service to do this. So this means we're going to be interfacing with two different websites, two different windows, which I think is something new in this case. Alrighty, so we're pulling up our CAPTCHA. We download the image file. As you can see, it's going on down here. We wait a little bit. And then we open this in a new tab. Then we enter the image into the form. We submit the form, and we get our solution. It's right there. It's AMKA. And then we enter that into the original CAPTCHA, and the CAPTCHA is solved. And after that, we exit gracefully. Let's look at the code. So it is, again, just that simple. We pull up the CAPTCHA, we download the image, we upload that image to the solver. It gives us the solution. We parse that, and then we enter that into the original CAPTCHA. I should point out that this CAPTCHA solver, it's made exclusively for this book and this application. It is not a real CAPTCHA solver. Don't try uploading random images to it because it will not be able to solve it, okay? It's kind of a trick done for the book, but it does demonstrate that the bot is able to do what we're trying to make it do. This is the one application where we are loading another library. We are loading URL lib. URL lib gives Python a bunch of HTTP kind of capabilities. All right, so here's the payload. Again, we're using the framework that we introduced in Project 2, so we're not going to talk about configurations or how we close things out. Also, a lot of this stuff should be looking really pretty familiar to you by this point. For example, here we are getting the CAPTCHA. And we download the CAPTCHA image. And the way we do that, it has a name called CAPTCHA IMG. We are grabbing the source attribute for it. And this actually is a fully resolved URL. And we are using that capability right here, where we are downloading the actual image. Here we open the new browser tab. I should point out that in Selenium, tabs, windows, they all look the same. As far as Selenium is concerned, a tab is just like a window. So this is how you switch between tabs or windows or what have you. I like to keep a copy of what the current tab is so I know how to get back there. And again, this will open a tab in Selenium. I switch to the new tab, which is actually in an array. This is the second element in the array. I make a copy of what this alternate tab is in case I want to come back to it. And then I just delay a little bit. I go to the tab and I load the solver. I upload the file. Here, let me pull this over a little bit. I upload that image. I upload that image into the CAPTCHA solver. And I'm using an absolute address here. That's why this is so long. And then we submit the form with a click. We get our solution. And again, we saw how it was presented. It's between these answer tags. So it's really nice and semantic, easy to parse with libparse's return between function. We announce what the solution is in the log file. We go back to the original window. We put that answer into the little text box called code. And we hit enter, and everything should be happy at that point. We get a copy of the web page and we print it out. And that is the end of the payload. One other thing I want to talk about in regards to CAPTCHAs is there are people on the other end of these solvers. Now, this particular CAPTCHA solver, the one I wrote for the book, is not like this. It's strictly software. But typically these solvers, they are typically based in places like Vietnam or Pakistan. And people will respond to ads that say things like, solve puzzles, make money, cash daily, And they'll set them up on a phone or on a laptop, and they'll go to a website where they'll start seeing a bunch of these CAPTCHA images, and they basically solve them. There are services that do other types of CAPTCHAs, or even like, the ones that Google does where it's find the stoplight, which boxes contain the stoplight. There are solvers for all those types of things. But basically, there are people there that are doing these. They will source at least 3 answers internally. They vote, the 2 that agree out of the 3. That becomes the answer, and that's what gets sent out to the customer. I've subscribed to a number of these. I was hoping that one of these people would be available for an interview for the book. None of them were. That doesn't totally surprise me. But I want to point out that there are people who are actually making money doing this. Mostly what I've heard is that there are a good number of people who are putting themselves through college by doing this kind of stuff. I don't know how much money they're making, but they must be solving an awful lot of these because it doesn't cost much to do this. Sub-pennies per CAPTCHA. They're putting themselves through college. They're doing a lot of work. Anyway, that is Project 8. The next one, we're going to write a bot that plays games. I'll see you then.